introduce yourself?
Oh, hi, I'm Ethan. I am a third-year pharmacy student at U of T, and here I'm playing at this tournament in the U2200 section.
Right. So Ethan, I mean, with you, am I correct in saying that this was your first ever rated tournament?
First ever rated tournament?
Yeah, many years ago or no?
Well, it was one of my first rated tournaments long time ago. I did play in the 2019 version of this one in the U1300 section. So I was like all the way down there. That was like one of my first tournaments. But now I've been much more, in the chess scene over the last, especially over, post-pandemic. I found myself playing a lot of these tournaments.
Okay. Yeah. So from the U1300 section, under 1300 section, and now you're rated over 2000.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a considerable improvement. I mean, so you said you started in 2019 at this rating, and now you're 2000 plus.
Yeah. So I think I was always a little bit underrated. In 2022 to 2023, I think I went from 1600 to 2200 in like 6 months.
Wow.
So I think I was always a little bit underrated, but in-person tournaments, it was much more easier to hone and refine a lot of things that I'm tending to do in blitz and faster time controls. So I think classical tournaments are great, and it's always very important to get specific skills that are very pertinent to longer time controls. It's very beneficial to play these longer tournaments.
Right. So, as in longer time controls, you think in general it'll result in a meteoric rise. Like with.
I think if you are very tactically alert and you understand the basis of the game. However, in longer time controls, you do realize that it becomes much more scientific. It becomes every single weakness and every single move obviously counts, and you're trying to extract as much value as possible. In blitz, you're kind of doing that, but you can kind of blur the lines a bit. Everything kind of goes a little hazy. You can get away with half calculating, let's say, but if you're calculating in blitz and you have a very good prowess for tactical abilities, that would translate well to classical. You'll realize that you can still calculate, but you have to make sure that you're extracting every single, ounce of value in the position.
Yeah. Wow. So it's very interesting. Like, from what I understand, you studied a lot on your own.
Yeah.
You improved a lot online. You played a lot of games online before you played, your first rated tournament.
Yeah.
You weren't playing a lot of classical chess. It's a bit unusual. And so, what made you start playing classical chess so late?
Well, in high school, my parents actually hated chess. They hated everything about it. They thought it was a great game to, help child development, let's say. But of course, I would just get obsessed over it. And they basically banned it from the household, which I think they're totally inclined to do. I think I would do something similar as well. But I would just play those like 3-minute games a lot, but I would never go to any tournaments. So the first tournament back, I think the second game, I played against a 2100 and I beat him. But I was only 1000, right? So, playing a lot of blitz games, and this is actually it's very common to see this, especially post-pandemic, when all of the tournaments were canceled across the world. And then when you come back, you see all of these players that haven't played, they have no rating, and then you see them destroying very well-known or established players in the chess scene, completely no names. Such as, I would give an example, there's a man named Olivier Lalonde, and he played against our one of the best, or the best at that time, student at U of T. Her name is Yun-Chan Lee, and he beat her 3 in a row in 3 classical games, but he was completely unknown. And here he is destroying a 2300 FIDE rated player, right? So, my story is a little bit unusual, but when you take into the account over the last few years about COVID and all that stuff, it becomes much more, the usual.
Right, right. So you started playing classical chess. There must be something appealing about classical chess, and probably something that is different from online blitz. What is that?
Classical chess, for me, it's a way to prove myself. Compared to blitz, I don't enjoy it as much, especially when the blitz is in person. Blitz online, it's like you're playing against a faceless entity. However, in blitz in person, you're talking, you're trash talking, you're using chess more as a medium to talk to the player next to you, right? When I come to these tournaments, I'm more serious and I'm calculating. It almost feels like work to me. I do enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, if I have a nice positional edge, just enjoying it, moving my pieces around. But besides that, Garry Kasparov once said, I think chess is mental torture. And especially when you're losing, it definitely is kind of like that, right? So classical chess, it does give you a lot more, it is a proving ground. And a lot of players, they actually like the longer time control where they can sit there and calculate. They love calculating all these beautiful lines. Now, for me, I kind of get pretty lazy, but there are days where I do enjoy classical more than blitz. However, I'm more of an extrovert in the chess community, and I do enjoy my faster time controls for sure.
Interesting. So you really like, Hart House Chess Club's
For
slogan
sure.
is
Where the kibitzers came.
You're right, and that seems to fit your personality quite well.
Oh, for sure.
So it's interesting that you would say that you do prefer in-person blitz, and that, but you did sort of make a small point. It was buried in there that it's a proving ground. Wasn't that what you said?
Classical would be a proving ground.
Of course, classical
Yes.
would be a proving ground. So you think that classical chess players, have to have that kind of that desire to just kind of crush, that Bobby Fischer-esque, desire to show to crush your ego.
Yeah, crushing egos is part of it, but it also could be a byproduct of what you want to do in your classical chess journey. Of course, you're gonna have to beat people, and it's their decision whether their ego gets crushed or not. When I am playing, it's not like I want to crush the other. Trust me, actually, sometimes I do want to crush the person's ego, but in reality, it's more for myself, right? Classical chess is very good at testing how much you know, right? You have an hour and 30 minutes. You can't blame your mouse speed, internet connection, hand speed, any other, or the extraneous variables are so much more minuscule compared to blitz chess, where it really tests how much you know about the position, your positional understanding, how well you're calculating, because you get 30 seconds for every single move you make, and plus 90 minutes. It's like, it tests, your overall chess understanding the best. So that's the reason why I say it is a proving ground, rather than faster time controls. Whenever I'm flagging some person, some poor guy across the world, dead lost position, have one pawn left, and I'm just moving my mouse around. Yeah, I could say I'm 2,800 on bullet, but that doesn't mean anything, right? Because if you see the way I'm winning, it's 80%, it's on time. That has nothing to do with chess.
This has been very interesting. Well, we're not going to take any more of your time. I understand that you have a round ahead of you.
No worries.
But your perspective on this is unique, and it's been wonderful. Actually, I do mean that.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
Thank you. All right.